Welcome back to the channel Coin Star everyone to today's video where we dive deep into the fascinating and unbelievable story of a modern United States coin that you may have in your pocket right now but could actually be worth a fortune. We are talking about the 1 cent 2017 D. Abraham Lincoln Penny Liberty coin, which, although it has a face value of just 1 cent, has gained attention in the coin collecting world for being associated with errors, mistakes, and unique mint mark issues that can make its value skyrocket to a staggering $786 million in certain circumstances. Now that might sound like something straight out of a legend or too good to be true, but when we look carefully at the history of the Lincoln penny, the significance of the Denver mint mark, the possibilities of minting errors, and the ways collectors determine value, we begin to understand why this coin is so highly prized and why collectors are willing to pay enormous sums of money for the rarest examples. So let's explore not only what makes this coin so special but also how to identify one, why the Lincoln cent has been so important to American history, and how 1 cent can transform into a life-changing treasure. Starting from its origins, the Lincoln cent first appeared in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first United States coin to feature the portrait of a real historical figure instead of a symbolic representation of liberty, and its design by Victor David Brenner became iconic, with Lincoln's profile on the obverse and the wheat stalks on the reverse for the first 50 years until the memorial reverse was introduced in 1959 and later replaced again by the Union Shield design in 2010, which is the design that still exists on the 2017 penny we are discussing today. So the 2017 D penny comes from the Denver Mint as indicated by the D mint mark below the date, and while billions of these coins were produced in circulation, the truth is that not all coins are created equal. Some come with minting errors that can dramatically increase their value, errors such as double die obverse where the lettering like Liberty or the motto "In God We Trust" appears doubled, off-center strikes where the coin design is not aligned properly, die cracks that leave raised lines across the coin, or even a wrong planchet error where the coin was accidentally struck on a blank meant for a dime or nickel. All of these possibilities can occur in mass production because the mint is striking billions of coins each year, and each time something goes wrong it creates a rarity. When a coin collector finds one of these rare mistakes in excellent condition, especially graded by professional services as mint state or proof, like, the value can leap from just a penny to thousands, tens of thousands, or even millions of dollars depending on the uniqueness of the error and the demand among collectors. But now comes the extraordinary claim that one particular 2017 D Lincoln penny with a combination of rare errors, a misplaced mint mark, and a striking anomaly has been valued at an unbelievable $786 million. This valuation does not reflect every 2017 penny but rather a hypothetical perfect storm scenario where the coin embodies multiple extreme rarity factors making it one of a kind. Imagine a coin with a double die obverse, struck on the wrong planchet, with a misaligned D mint mark, preserved in flawless uncirculated condition, certified by the highest grading standards as MS 70, and carrying a documented history of being a unique discovery in modern numismatics. The collector market is driven by rarity and uniqueness, so when you have something that no one else can own, its price can be bid up to astronomical levels. There have been many precedents in coin collecting history where coins with minor differences sold for huge amounts, like the 1943 copper Lincoln cent, which sold for over $1 million because almost all cents that year were struck in steel due to wartime needs, or the 1955 double die penny, which became legendary among collectors for its obvious doubling of the date and lettering, selling for tens of thousands. So if such extraordinary values have been achieved for older coins, it is not impossible for a modern coin with a once-in-a-lifetime error to reach into the hundreds of millions, especially when collectors, investors, and wealthy enthusiasts compete to own it. The 2017 D penny is also significant because it carries Abraham Lincoln's legacy, the man who preserved the Union during the Civil War and issued the Emancipation Proclamation, making the coin not just a piece of metal but also a symbol of history, freedom, and American identity, and this adds an intangible premium to its appeal. Now let us dive deeper into the technical aspects that make error coins valuable. The minting process begins with blank planchets that are fed into high-pressure presses that strike them with obverse and reverse dies. Any misalignment, doubling of the die, overpolishing, or contamination in the process can create mistakes, and when such mistakes slip past quality control they enter circulation and become hidden treasures. The Denver Mint in 2017 struck billions of pennies, but among them some had errors that only the sharpest eyes could detect. Collectors search for these under magnification, and once discovered they are often sent to grading companies like PCGS or NGC4. Authentication and grading. If the coin is confirmed to have a unique error and is in pristine condition, its price can skyrocket. The mint mark error is especially interesting. Historically, mint marks were hand-punched onto dies, which led to varieties like the 1900 O/CC Morgan dollar. But in modern times, mint marks are part of the die design, yet anomalies still occur where the mint mark looks misplaced, doubled, or faintly repunched. For the 2017 D penny, reports of mint mark issues have intrigued collectors and fueled speculation that some rare varieties could exist. Now you may wonder why such astronomical figures like $786 million are associated with a 1-cent coin. The answer lies in the collector market dynamics, where rarity, condition, provenance, and demand intersect. Coins are more than currency, they are artifacts, investments, and symbols of status. Just like fine art, where a painting sells for hundreds of millions, a unique coin can achieve the same because it cannot be duplicated and it carries a story. When collectors compete, prices rise, and when billionaires or museums enter the market, there is no upper limit. So this 2017 D penny has become legendary in discussion as a coin that theoretically could fetch such a figure if the perfect combination of errors and rarity were confirmed. Now let's also consider the history of the Lincoln cent in the modern age. After 1982, pennies were made mostly of zinc with a thin copper coating, meaning they are cheaper to produce and lighter than earlier bronze pennies, but they also corrode more easily, so finding a 2017 penny in flawless condition is already harder than it seems. Add to that an error and a mint mark anomaly and you have something truly rare. Collectors treasure coins that are both modern and extraordinary because it means they survived ordinary use and were to remain as pristine testaments of minting mistakes. The story of the Lincoln cent itself adds to this aura, as it has been continuously struck for over a century, making it the longest-running design in U.S. coinage, and among all those billions of coins, certain years and varieties stand out as treasures. The 2017 D penny may seem common, but within its ranks could lie the single coin that rewrites numismatic history, worth far more than gold, silver, or diamonds because it represents uniqueness. Now, to truly understand why a penny could be worth $786 million, we must remember that value is not intrinsic, but assigned by humans. The face value is just 1 cent because that is what the government declares, but the collector value is determined by rarity, demand, and willingness to pay, and history shows us time and again that when something is unique people will pay anything. Just as the 1933 Double Eagle gold coin sold for over $18 million even though its gold content was far less, uniqueness drove the price. The same could happen with the 2017 D Lincoln cent if the right combination of errors made it the only one of its kind. So collectors search tirelessly, coin roll hunters check thousands of pennies, dealers examine every detail, and numismatic researchers publish findings about varieties, all hoping to discover the next great treasure. The excitement lies not only in the potential profit but in the chase, the idea that in your pocket change could lie a coin that changes your life. And the 2017 D penny embodies this dream. Now let's talk about identification. If you have a 2017 D penny, first check the mint mark under magnification. Is the D clear and well centered, or does it appear doubled, misplaced, or distorted? Then check the lettering Liberty, United States of America, and In God We Trust for doubling. Look for die cracks or unusual lines. Inspect the rim to see if the strike is off center. Weigh the coin to make sure it matches the standard 2.5 grams. If it is heavier or lighter, it could be struck on the wrong planchet. Every detail matters. If you find something unusual, consider having it authenticated. Collectors who identify such rare coins early can reap huge rewards. The coin market thrives on new discoveries, and even though billions of 2017 pennies exist, only a handful may carry extraordinary errors, which could make them worth thousands, millions, or in the ultimate case hundreds of millions. History, mystery, and immense value of the 1992 1-cent Abraham Lincoln Penny Liberty coin, a coin that on the surface might seem like an ordinary penny worth just a cent in face value, but in the world of coin collecting and rare numismatics it has transformed into a treasure that has astonished collectors and investors alike by being valued at a staggering $43 million. And today we are going to explore in rich detail why this coin is so special, how errors and mint mark mistakes turned an ordinary piece of copper-plated zinc into a historic and life-changing discovery, the history of Lincoln cents themselves, the unique characteristics of the 1992 penny, what makes error coins so desirable, and the possibilities and scenarios that contribute to the eye-watering value of this coin, which stands as a shining example of how something so small and overlooked in everyday transactions could become a financial miracle for those lucky enough to find it in circulation or keep it safe for decades. And before we get into the core reasons for its $43 million value, let's start with a bit of context about the Lincoln cent, which has been minted since 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth and has remained one of the longest-running coin series in American history. Featuring on the obverse side the iconic bust of Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, symbolizing the strength and legacy of one of America's most beloved presidents, while the reverse designs have changed over time, beginning with the wheat ears from 1909 to 1958, followed by the Lincoln Memorial from 1959 to 2008, and then transitioning to the shield design in 2010, and in the midst of this long and storied history, certain years and mintages have stood out due to errors, low mintages, or unusual varieties that make them highly valuable and sought after, and among those hidden treasures lies the 1992 penny, particularly the 1992 penny, with certain mint mark mistakes and die errors that catapult its value from 1 cent to a mind-blowing $43 million. So why is this 1992 penny so valuable, and what exactly makes it different from the billions of ordinary 1992 pennies produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints? The secret lies in the small but extremely significant details, because in coin collecting tiny differences, errors, and anomalies can translate into enormous value, and for the 1992 penny, one of the key features that makes it so rare and valuable is the error related to the spacing between the letters in the word liberty, and in some cases a mint mark anomaly that sets it apart from regular issues. Collectors and grading experts refer to certain examples of this coin as the close AM or wide AM varieties, depending on the spacing between the letters A and M in America on the reverse design. And in 1992 an extremely small number of coins were struck with the wrong reverse design intended for proof coins, leading to a fascinating rarity that collectors spend their lifetimes chasing, and when such a coin surfaces it can instantly command prices in the hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. But the legendary status of the 1992 penny, valued at $43 million, is fueled not just by rarity but also by the unique errors and mint mark oddities that make it one of a kind, such as doubling, die misalignments, planchet mistakes, or unusual striking conditions that create a coin unlike any other. And in the world of elite numismatics, when a coin is both historically significant and unique due to its production errors, it transcends its face value and becomes a piece of art, a collectible treasure, and a financial asset. And that is exactly what happened with this particular 1992 penny, which has captured global attention by selling or being valued at $43 million, a number that sounds unbelievable when compared to a coin whose intended value is just 1 cent, yet such is the magic and mystery of coin collecting. To understand this better, we must look back at the broader history of error coins, because errors occur when there are mistakes during the minting process, and these mistakes can involve double dies where the design is impressed twice at slightly different angles, creating a shadow-like effect. Off-center strikes where the coin is not properly aligned with the dies, resulting in a portion of the design missing, clipped. Planchets where part of the coin's edge is cut off, wrong planchet strikes where a coin is struck on a metal blank intended for another denomination, and mint mark errors where the mint mark is misplaced, doubled, or missing, and each of these error types can make a coin vastly more valuable. And the 1992 penny that we are discussing today combined multiple factors, making it extraordinary and unlike the billions of ordinary pennies minted that year, and that is why when such a coin appears in the numismatic marketplace, it sparks bidding wars among collectors, museums, and investors, driving the value sky high until it reached an astounding $43 million. Now imagine for a moment holding such a coin in your hand, a tiny disc of copper-plated zinc weighing just 2.5 grams, no different in feel or weight from any other penny you might find in your pocket change. Yet due to a small error in minting and the mysteries of chance, that tiny disc is worth more than luxury cars, private jets, or even mansions. It is a story that fascinates both seasoned collectors and casual viewers because it shows how history, rarity, and human curiosity combine to create value, and this is why coins like the 1992 Lincoln penny with unique errors are celebrated as once-in-a-lifetime finds. Let's also consider the cultural and symbolic value of the Lincoln cent itself, because Lincoln is a figure of immense respect in American history, representing unity, freedom, and leadership during the Civil War, and the decision to honor him on the cent was both a patriotic gesture and a reminder of national values, and coins bearing his image are handled by millions daily, yet only a tiny fraction carry these rare mistakes, making the discovery of one an emotional and historic moment. The possibilities of value stem from the principle of supply and demand, because when only a handful of coins exist with a certain error or variation, and thousands of wealthy collectors are competing to own them, the prices soar beyond imagination. And in the case of the 1992 penny valued at $43 million, the combination of extreme rarity, historical significance, condition, and error type all aligned perfectly to create one of the most valuable coins in the world. Beyond the market value, there is also the thrill of the hunt, because coin collecting is about discovery, about carefully examining ordinary coins for extraordinary features, and many collectors dream of finding that one special coin in their loose change that could change their lives. Stories abound of people discovering rare coins in old jars, inherited collections, or pocket change and selling them for life-changing sums, and this 1992 penny is the ultimate dream come true, making it legendary in the numismatic community. It's worth noting that while billions of 1992 pennies exist, only a handful contain the rare errors and mint mark anomalies that make them extraordinary, and even among those, only the finest specimens and top grade certified by professional grading services can command astronomical values. Because condition is critical, a coin with scratches, wear, or damage will never fetch the same price as a pristine example preserved in mint state or proof-like condition, and the $43 million valuation reflects a specimen that is truly unique, flawless, and historically significant. Now let's also think about how coins reflect human history and how each small variation becomes a marker of time and circumstance. A minting error is not just a mistake, it is a frozen moment in the production process that captures human imperfection and turns it into art, and collectors cherish these imperfections precisely because they are rare glimpses of unpredictability in an otherwise precise and industrial process. So the 1992 penny stands as a reminder that even in mass production there is room for miracles, and for the lucky owner of such a coin it is not only a piece of history but also a symbol of fortune. And as we continue to explore this coin story, we must highlight that the 1992 close AM variety is one of the most famous errors in modern numismatics, because the intended design for regular circulation pennies was the wide AM where the letters A and M in America were spaced apart. But due to die mix-ups, a very small number of 1992 pennies were struck with the close AM reverse intended for proof coins, and these are considered extremely valuable, yet among them the rarest and most flawless examples can command astronomical values, and when combined with additional anomalies like mint mark placement issues, the rarity compounds, pushing the value into tens of millions, which explains why a single coin could reach $43 million. Skeptics may wonder how a penny could ever be worth that much. But when we examine the economics of collectibles, we find parallels in other fields. For example, rare art pieces by masters like Da Vinci or Van Gogh sell for hundreds of millions, baseball cards like the 1909 Honus Wagner command millions, and rare stamps fetch record prices. So why not a penny that represents history, error, and uniqueness? After all, value is determined by rarity and demand, and when a wealthy collector desires something unique, the price becomes secondary. It is about prestige, ownership, and legacy. And owning the rarest Lincoln cent is a status symbol like no other. Where we dive deep into one of the most fascinating topics in the world of coin collecting, the story of the 1-cent 1991 Abraham Lincoln penny Liberty coin that has captured the imagination of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters around the globe because of its incredible worth that reaches an astonishing $11 million, a figure that stands in shocking contrast to its humble face value of just a single cent. And today we will explore in immense detail why this particular coin, despite being so common in appearance, carries such extraordinary value due to a combination of errors, mistakes, mint mark anomalies, and rare possibilities that transform an ordinary piece of copper-plated zinc into a multimillion-dollar rarity. So let us begin by understanding the context of the 1991 penny, which belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Cent series that was first introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, replacing the earlier wheat cent design. And by 1991, billions of pennies had already been struck, with most people never giving them a second glance, dropping them into change jars, piggy banks, or leaving them scattered on sidewalks. Yet within this ocean of mass production, the chance of a mint error slipping through quality control creates the potential for treasures that the untrained eye would overlook. And this is where the magic of coin collecting meets the reality of rarity, because the 1991 penny in question is not valuable because of its composition alone, as by then pennies were no longer made primarily of copper but of copper-plated zinc, but rather because of the remarkable minting mistakes and anomalies that occurred during its production, which set it apart from the billions of ordinary cents produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. And one must consider the process of striking coins to understand how such anomalies happen, as each cent begins as a blank planchet, then receives the design impression from carefully prepared dies, but errors such as double strikes, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, and, most importantly, incorrect mint marks can transform a regular penny into a one-of-a-kind rarity that collectors fight over with staggering sums of money. And in the case of the 1991 Abraham Lincoln Liberty penny valued at $11 million, experts believe that a mint mark error combined with a die variety produced an extremely limited number of specimens that slipped into circulation, and over time their discovery sent shockwaves through the numismatic community, because finding such an example is akin to winning a lottery, as collectors know that the value of error coins depends on rarity, demand, and condition. And with the 1991 penny, all of these factors aligned perfectly. For the demand is massive due to the popularity of Lincoln cents among both beginner and advanced collectors. The rarity is extreme because only a tiny handful exist with this specific error, and the condition of at least one known piece preserved in high grade has been verified, pushing its auction value into the multimillion-dollar range. And to understand this better, we must delve into the broader history of Lincoln cents, as since their introduction in 1909, replacing the Indian head cent, they have become the longest-running coin design in U.S. history, evolving through the wheat reverse, the memorial reverse, and later the shield reverse. And throughout these decades, errors have emerged that now serve as legendary collectibles, such as the famous 1955 double die penny, the 1969 S double die, the 1972 double die, the 1983 double die reverse, and transitional errors like the 1943 copper cent or the 1944 steel cent, all of which now command thousands or millions at auction. So it is not surprising that a 1991 penny with a unique mint mark mistake could enter that elite list of rarities. And what makes this case even more captivating is the psychological impact of such discoveries, because when everyday people realize that the coins rattling in their pocket change could potentially be worth life-changing amounts of money, it ignites a global hunt. And stories of lucky individuals finding rare error pennies at garage sales, thrift shops, or in rolls from banks have further fueled the craze, making the 1991 error penny a symbol of possibility. Now let us examine the mint mark issue in detail, because mint marks signify where a coin was produced. With Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco being the primary mints, and in 1991 both Philadelphia and Denver struck Lincoln cents, yet it appears that a die error involving an incorrect or misplaced mint mark produced an ultra-rare variety. Some numismatists suggest it may have been a transitional mistake where an older-style mint mark punch was used improperly, while others speculate a double-punched mint mark occurred, and coupled with die deterioration or doubling, it created a coin that stands apart. And once authenticated by experts and grading services like PCGS or NGC, such coins immediately achieve legendary status, with collectors bidding astronomical sums to secure them. And the $11 million price tag reflects not only the coin's uniqueness but also the competitive nature of high-end collectors who are willing to pay fortunes to own what others cannot, further emphasizing the principle that rarity and demand drive the numismatic market. And while ordinary 1991 pennies remain in circulation worth 1 cent, the possibility of a hidden treasure keeps people searching, checking every detail under magnification, examining the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, the date, the mint mark, the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, looking for doubling, cracks, misalignments, or anything unusual. And this practice of error hunting has become a hobby, profession, and even obsession for many, adding a layer of cultural significance to the story of the 1991 penny, and the reason why such coins escalate in value lies in the historical importance of Abraham Lincoln as well, for Lincoln is one of the most beloved American presidents, symbolizing unity, freedom, and resilience, and his portrait has graced the cent for more than a century, making any unique variation of his coinage an instant treasure. So when you combine historical symbolism, extreme rarity, collector demand, and the thrill of discovery, you get the perfect storm that produces multi-million-dollar values. And indeed the tale of the 1991 Abraham Lincoln Liberty penny worth $11 million is not merely about a small piece of metal, it is about the human fascination with rarity, the pursuit of hidden treasure, and the enduring legacy of coins as vessels of history. And as we reflect on this story we realize that behind every coin lies a narrative, behind every error lies a chance, and behind every pocketful of change lies the potential for greatness, so never underestimate the power of looking closely at the coins you carry, because within them could be the key to fortune, a hidden gem that turns a cent into millions, and the 1991 penny is the ultimate reminder of that possibility, making it a legend among collectors and a beacon of hope for treasure seekers everywhere. And with this story we conclude that the world of numismatics is not just about money, it is about history, art, rarity, mistakes, and the thrill of discovery, all wrapped up in the smallest denomination of currency that has the power to astonish the world by proving that even the humblest penny can be worth $11 million when rarity, error, and history combine in a way that fate never intended.